This is the Tree Board webinar series, Community Forestry Planning. My name is Kuehler. I'm the Technology Transfer Specialist with the U.S. Forest Service, Urban Forestry South, located in Athens, Georgia. Planning is necessary to move our urban forest programs in a positive, defined direction. With planning, we can better control our outcomes and let the urban forest work for us. Today we're going to talk about the urban forest management planning, why we should plan, how to plan, the planning process, and then we will talk about the urban forest management plan writing tool developed by Urban Forestry South. So, why plan for the urban forest? A management plan is like a roadmap to help get you from where you are to where you would like to be. It helps determine how the urban forest will be managed so that it remains sustainable, provides maximum environmental benefits, and will perform like what you envision. Plans help us to focus on what we need to do next in order to keep moving in a positive direction. It provides a skeleton on which your urban forest program can be developed and implemented. A plan provides a basis for consistent decision-making even after elected officials and public employees leave office. An urban forest management plan is a tool for determining budgets. It is from good planning that public money and other resources can be budgeted efficiently. When policymakers see that there is a plan in place with concrete goals to realize a vision, then they are more likely to allocate funding for its progress and maintenance. So without urban forest management planning, the photos on the right is probably most likely what your community is going to look like. Trees tend to be an afterthought. All right, so how do we plan? An urban forest management plan is a continuous process where you constantly ask yourself, what do we want from our forest? What do we currently have at our disposal to help us get what we want? How do we use what we have to get what we want? And then reassess periodically to ask, are we getting what we wanted? So urban forest management planning is not a one-time event. Management plans can be as detailed as you want to make them, but it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially for a tree board. It's advisable to start small and to build from there to ensure that a plan is used and not collecting dust on the shelf. When you plan, build in adaptability because we can't always predict the future. Natural disasters and economic changes can deter, can prevent our plans from moving forward as quickly as we would like for them to. Keep in mind that decisions about urban forest management affect everybody living in the community, so include them in the planning process as much as you can. A plan that includes residents, businesses, and municipal departments has a better chance of succeeding than one that doesn't. Also, a plan that addresses a city's master or comprehensive plan will be much more useful to the community and will more than likely be supported by policymakers. It is advisable to seek professional assistance during the planning process. Plan to involve a professional natural resource manager at the outset. The State Urban Community Forestry Program Coordinator, an ISA certified arborist, or some urban forester or natural resource manager has the experience, they've got the training, they've got the background to guide you efficiently through the management planning process. So the planning process, like I said, does not need to be complicated. In fact, the more complicated it is, the fewer people you'll have interested in its development. Every community is different, and therefore the plans for each community also vary. However, the steps taken to create a plan are similar, and there is a logical sequence of events in the process that helps to produce a successful plan. The 5 basic steps in a management plan are the vision, assessing the resources, identifying the needs, setting goals and developing action plans, and evaluating the outcomes. So to begin, the vision sets the direction for your plan. You'll want to ask yourself, what do we want these trees to do for our community? Once you have an idea of what your community forest will look like in the future, or the vision that you have for the community forest, you'll need to know what you currently have. Taking an inventory of trees in your community will allow you to see the current condition of your trees as a whole and help you better understand what needs to be done so that you can realize your vision. You should plan to reassess your trees periodically. 3 to 5 years is advisable to see how things are progressing. So then you'll want to ask yourself, how do we get what we want? Once we have a vision and know what we currently have in an inventory, what types of things must be done or need to be done to move your urban forest program toward your vision? Things such as public education, funding, tree maintenance policy, periodic tree inventories, tree ordinances. These are all possible needs that should be addressed. With your needs outlined, set reasonable goals to address the needs. Develop measurable objectives or action items to help you accomplish the goals. Assign the action item to an individual or a group and give them a target date for completing the item. If there's a cost associated with the action item, it's a good idea to estimate that as well. This will ultimately be presented to the community's elected officials or whoever is responsible for the community's finances. Costs usually must be justified, so it may also be a good idea to provide a good, valid reason why money should be spent on that action item. Lastly, we want to ask ourselves, are we getting what we wanted? So periodically evaluate the progress of your plan. It may be a good idea to do this once every year, preferably well in advance of the start of the new fiscal year. Was everything that we set out to do completed is a good question to ask yourself. If not, why not? You may need to reevaluate your vision, your needs, your goals, or your action items to ensure that they are reasonable and or attainable. At this point, you may want to set new goals and objectives for the new year, or you may simply need to set new completion dates in order to accomplish the goals previously set out. A professional arborist or natural resource manager can help you determine what goals are attainable and at what costs. There are several tools available online that can help you in this planning process. Remember that all cities are unique, and so it's not really a good idea to cut and paste from existing plans online. Those plans were developed for that particular community and may not particularly pertain to your municipality. Urban Forestry South has developed the Urban Forest Management Plan writing tool, and so I'd like to take a little bit of time to walk you through the tool and then demonstrate some of the functions of the tool. So the Urban Forest Management Plan writing tool is geared specifically for tree boards and for non-urban forest professionals. It was developed after my time with the Pineville, Louisiana Tree Board, where after the tree board was founded, the State Urban and Community Forestry Program coordinator asked us to develop a management plan. Well, I had never developed a management plan, and the tree board that was created had never developed a management plan. So we didn't exactly know what we were doing. We ended up going online, and we found several management plans online. We cut and pasted that, developed a management plan, what we thought was a management plan for the city of Pineville. When all that was done, we promptly printed it out and set it on the shelf and never visited it again. So this tool was developed to help a tree board and non-natural resource managers with the learning the planning process, to help communicate your vision and what you want for your community forest to look like with urban forest professionals, so that your time with them can be efficient and you can speak their language. They know what you are wanting to do with your community forest. And ultimately, this tool is to help you move your program in a positive direction. The tool does come with a user's manual to help you set up accounts and to help you navigate through the tool. It can be found at urbanforestrysouth.org. On the home page, if you go to the left-hand side of the home page, you'll find project. You'll click on project and then management plan tool, and then you'll be able to open up and download the user's manual. We've set up accounts for this so that you can protect your plan. This will prevent tampering from people online. It gives you the ability to revise your plan periodically as needed throughout the year and multiple years. And if you forget your login name or your password, you can retrieve it easily. So some components of the tool include preliminary information. The preliminary information that you're asked is embedded in your plan to allow you to personalize your plan. Some of the information is the name of the community, the name of the organization that is putting this plan together, the year in which the plan begins, and organizational leadership. Like I said, all of this is embedded in the plan and allows for the plan to be personalized. And then the tool takes the next 6 screens to help you to develop a vision statement. And there again, this is to help the tree board to really understand what they're wanting their community forest, how they vision their community forest to look. It helps to establish the vision. So these 6 screens walk you through what you see the forest will do for you, how the forest will look, what types of trees make up the forest, how the community, the citizens will be involved, how the municipality will be involved, and then by what year you envision all of this taking place. This particular tool is a 5-year window, but you can set this, you can set your plan, and will probably want to set your plan out for 25, 30, 50 years down the road. So by establishing the vision, then depending on what you choose in the vision statement or in the vision screens, you will generate some needs, and you will need to then assess those needs. There are 6 basic needs. These needs include addressing education and volunteerism, forest management policy, funding, tree inventory, tree maintenance policy, and tree ordinance. So to assess these needs, the tool will walk you through a series of yes, no, and not applicable questions for each of the needs. Once you've assessed the needs, then you'll want to set goals to address those needs. And these goals are generated based on your needs assessment. There again, this particular tool is a 5-year window. So you will want to address these needs probably not in the first year, but throughout that 5-year window. Some goals need to be achieved before other goals can be addressed. So you will, in this particular portion of the tool, you will choose the year in which you will want to address these particular goals. Only the goals in the first year of the 5-year window will be used in the annual work plan. And then to create the annual work plan, you will need to provide more detail as to how you're going to accomplish those goals by setting up tasks. You'll identify tasks, identify a person or a group responsible for completing that task, a completion date, and any costs associated with it. You'll also have online resources that you can click on to help provide more information about addressing those goals, completing those goals, and the types of tasks that need to be done to complete those goals. So after working through the tool, then you have a basic ready-to-use plan that includes a vision statement and then some long-range goals by year addressing the needs that you've identified. And then you will also have created a current year work plan with resources list to help you work through the plan and stay on task. This output, this basic ready-to-use plan can be downloaded to your personal computer and stored on your hard drive as a Microsoft Word document that can be edited. You can add graphics, tables, photos, appendices, whatever you want to add to your plan to individualize it. Like I said, there are some other online planning tools. There is a much more robust tool developed for the California Urban Forest Council. This particular tool is much more involved and should probably be used with a natural resource manager on your team. So with that, I would like to demonstrate a little bit of the Urban Forestry South Urban Forest Management Plan Writing tool. Like I said, if you go to Urban Forestry South on the home page at urbanforestrysouth.org, over on the left-hand side under Projects, you can click on Projects and you can find the Management Plan tool. And with that, then you will be taken to the Management Plan tool page where you can scroll down. You can pull up the user's manual. You can click on this link down here to see a copy of a plan that was generated from the tool, and then you can click here to access the planning tool. So once you get on the tool, then you can click on Join. If you haven't set up an account, you can click on Join and follow the wizard through the joining process. It will ask you for some information and your email address, and it will then send to your email address a link so that you can set up a password. You can also log in at this point by clicking the Login button. And with your login name and your password, then you can log in. I'm going to use a generic login name and password. And we will log in to the tool. So this is the home page of the tool. Once you have logged in, you can log out in the upper right-hand corner by clicking on Log Out, or you can go to My Folder. If you haven't created a tool yet, then you'll probably want to, down at the bottom of the screen will be something like Create a Plan or go back to Home. You can go back to the Home if you would like. And on this home page, then you can pull up the Y plan, the planning process, and how to use this tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a management plan. Actually, I'm going to walk you through a plan that I've already created. So I'm going to go to My Folder. And I am going to create or show you what I created for the community of Homer. So I'm going to go ahead and edit and walk you through all the pages of this plan writing tool. So I'm going to go to the Start page, and this is the initial page where you would want to provide some preliminary information for your plan, such as the name of the community, the organization who will be overseeing the plan, the first year of the plan, the name of the leader of this organization, and then that person's title. You would want to do that because that will then personalize the plan and make it unique to your community. And then once you have that information, then the plan will walk you through the vision statement. This will help you to establish your vision. There are 6 screens within the vision statement. Each screen will ask you a question. This particular screen asks, what are the things you would like for your community forest to do? And you're given some ideas. If you like some of these that are already spelled out for you, you can just click on the box over on the left-hand side. For this particular community in Homer, they are interested in improving civic pride by providing landmarks for the future. And they're also interested in something that they didn't see in this list, so they decided that they would add their own by clicking on Other. Then a pop-up window will appear, and you would simply just complete the sentence that is started. The community forest will provide local green jobs. So for Homer, they're interested in their community forest providing local green jobs for their citizens. And then you would click on Next. You could click on Save, but if you click on Save, it will take you out of the tool, and you would have to go in and click on Edit again to get back to where you were. So in this particular case, you can prioritize all of the items that you collected by clicking on the box, and you can move it. What this does, what in the vision statement that's generated, it will place the number 1 item first in the vision statement, the number 2 item next in that particular vision statement. So the local green jobs for the city of Homer is more important than improving civic pride, so they wanted local green jobs to be number 1. So you would hit Next, and then you would just walk through each of these vision screens to talk about what do you see your community forest looking like in the future. You could choose several of these. Some of them are exclusive, so be careful not to include all of them, because some of them exclude others. What type of trees do you see your community forest predominantly consisting? There again, you can choose all of them if you would like, but some of them are exclusive. So you can choose more than one, but we're just going to keep it simple for this particular exercise. How will the citizens of your community be involved with improving the community forest? Here again, you can choose others, these, or if you don't see what you like, you can choose other. And then lastly, how will the municipality be involved with improving the community forest? So I'm just keeping it simple for this particular exercise. The last thing in the vision statement is asking by when, by what year do you see all of these things being completed? For the community of Homer, they say that by 2030, they see all of these things being completed. And you can take that out to 2050 to 2100 if you want, but remember this tool is a five-year planning tool. So I'm going to change all of these. The next thing is to assess the needs. Based on what you chose in the vision portion of this tool, various needs will be generated depending on what you chose. So we're going to assess the needs in this next section. The first need that we need to assess is tree inventory, so you would basically go through and answer all the questions. Does your community have a recent inventory of publicly owned trees? We're going to say that Homer does have a recent inventory, and by clicking yes, then other questions then appear. Does your community have a recent full street tree inventory? And not for Homer. Does your community have a recent sample street tree inventory? Yes, they have a sample inventory. Does your community have a recent park tree inventory? No, it does not. And does your community have a recent urban tree canopy analysis? No, it does not. So then you would just click next and go through the other needs, assess the other needs that will be generated. I'm not going to go through each of these, but I will click through them. This was already done for the community of Homer. The needs for tree inventory, tree ordinance, tree maintenance policy, and unfortunately our network is rather slow today. Community forest management policy, community education and volunteerism, and the last one should be funding. So then once you've assessed the needs, then you need to set up goals and identify those goals that you want to address by need for each year. Remember that any goal that you set to address in the first year of the plan gets moved to the annual work plan. And so, some of these goals don't need to be addressed in the first year, and you can't address them all in the first year. Tree boards are typically volunteer organizations, and we just don't have all the time that we would like to address all these needs in the first year. So some of them need to be addressed later. Here's an example of re-inventorying the public trees. Well, you would want to do those periodically, not every year. And since they were recently done here in the community of Homer, we're going to set the re-inventory of public trees off to the latter portion of this 5-year window. So you just go through here and just click on the box that you would want to begin to address these goals. And there again, this is done by needs. So for the tree ordinance, typically tree ordinances are, you would want to address those later in that first 5-year window. Tree maintenance policy. Here's the community forest management policy goals and when they will be addressed. Community education and volunteerism. Typically, you'll want to take care of those things up front and get those taken care of. Get your volunteer base in line and start building that grassroots. And then lastly, funding. Funding also is probably something that you'll want to do sooner rather than later. And then once you've identified the goals that you want to address, then you will just then you'll want to set up action items to incrementally satisfy those goals. And so here's the part of the tool that helps you to develop the annual work plan. Here you've got the goal that's outlined in bold right here, conduct an urban tree canopy analysis. Here are some links, some online links that allow you to get more information on what needs to be done in order to complete these goals. I'm going to move on. What you would want to do, though, is click on the button for action item, and I've got some over here. But to start setting up those action items, you'd want to click on Add Action for the particular goal and work through the process. So when we click on the Add Action, we can identify the action that we want to take, identify the person who will be responsible for taking this action up above. We'll want to identify the month or the day, the time that this action will be completed by, and if there's any dollar amount here. And then you would add it. I'm going to cancel out of that and show you what it would look like after we've added one. So here is for the goal of develop a list of reputable, reliable contractors that your community can call in an emergency. We've identified that the task is simply develop a list of reputable, reliable contractors. Susie is going to do this. She's going to do it by March the 1st. It's not going to cost the community anything. If you want to edit, you can click on the pencil icon right here on the left-hand side of the box. If you want to delete this entire action item, you would click on the red X. See if we can't find another action item. So here is one to develop a method of obtaining information regarding the public's attitude and knowledge of trees. You see that we have multiple action items here. First thing we're going to do is contact the State Urban and Community Forestry Coordinator for help about how to proceed. We're going to contact the local college to develop a survey questions and public survey. And then we're going to complete the public opinion survey and develop results of public opinion survey. So once we go through the entire action item, setting up all of the action items, at the end of the tool, then we can then generate the plan document. And what this will do is it will create a Word document that you can actually store on your PC in your hard drive, and then you can pull it up and make edits. Or we can actually go back and edit portions of within the tool. And here we can see the previous pages. If we want to go back to the vision statement, well, we can go back to Vision 1, Vision 2, portions of that vision. We can also go back to the needs assessment and the goals portion by clicking on some of these links right here. So then once you have the plan completed, then you can begin to edit. So that hopefully is a good start for you. There again, the user's manual is available online to give you more information about how to set up a project and how to work through the tool.